We're going to pick up on the topic that Joe mentioned about how do you pay for all this stuff with a discussion of U.S. taxes. Over the years that I've been coming to Germany and dealing with German investors, the tax treatment of real estate investment by German investors has always been a driver of what they do or what they don't do. There are times when there's more activity and there's times when there's more uncertainty. We're in the midst of an environment right now which is a combination of both. Lots of activity and lots of uncertainty. And in that regard, we're very happy to have Hubert Eisenack from EY join us today. Hubert, I mean, I had trouble enough getting through law school in one country. Hubert's a lawyer in 2 countries. He's really expert at this whole issue of the taxation of German investors in U.S. real estate. He has a unique capability for both knowing what he's talking about and explaining it to someone like me who can't even fill out a tax return. So Hubert, the stage is yours. Tell us about tax issues that we're facing now in terms of the U.S.
Great, Brad. Thank you very much. I always love listening to you when you talk about me. Welcome also from my end. I think Oliver and Brad, you have mentioned it before. The last 15 months have been, well, somewhat special. Coming from Munich, even like the Oktoberfest has been canceled, but the USA conference stands firm, is there, has happened last year, happens this year, so I think it's great. And so let's be optimistic and positive that we will see some form of new normal pretty soon. So what do we have today? When Brad mentioned the pretty strict allotment of time, he didn't give you like the full story. I was asking really for the entire day. So, but now I'll somehow put it in 18 minutes. So setting the scene, let's talk about different investors and different investors' needs pretty quickly. Then see what's going on in Washington, who's going to pay for all of this. Then I wanted to give you a quick update on tax implications in distressed leases and the ever important topic of developments for qualified foreign pension funds. So a pretty regular question for a tax advisor is, so what's the best structure for investing in US real estate for foreign investors? And the typical advisors' answers, advisors like this answer is, well, it depends. And so it depends on what? Well, it really depends on the needs of the investor. And this slide really is by no means conclusive, but you can kind of generally break investor types down into tax-exempt investors, such as like real estate investment funds, pension funds, then life and health insurance companies. They are sometimes referred to as tax-privileged investors, which is not entirely true. They are not that privileged, but they have a special fiscal treatment. Regular corporate investors, such as casualty insurers, banks, and maybe other investors, family offices. So imagine you have a structure that produces taxes which are creditable in Germany. But the investor is tax exempt, so there is nothing to credit in Germany, so that would be bad. Or imagine a wonderfully designed structure, perfectly appropriate from a US tax perspective. You approach the investor says, well, thanks a lot, but regulatory constraints, I can't do it. It's prohibited for me. So those are things to consider, and ideally considered at a very early stage of an investment. So what's going on in Washington right now? This is the proposal. It has 100-something pages. This is where the Biden administration explains how they want to change the US tax law. I would love to go over all of those 100-something pages. I can't, but I'll give you like a couple of the essentials, what I would think is interesting and what could be relevant for especially foreign investors. So starting, first things first, corporate tax rate. The federal corporate tax rate, there is state and local taxation as well in the US. The corporate tax rate is supposed to go up. It's currently 21%. The proposal talks about 28%. Biden has indicated a certain openness to maybe settle somewhere in between as a compromise, around 25%. So we'll see what's going on there. Then the proposal talks about something called minimum tax on book income, so not on taxable income as determined for tax purposes, but on book income. On